I got the words you on my butt cheek because I used to moon people a lot, and I thought it was funny if I would be like, you. But then as I got older, I'm like, I can't have this on my ass, and I had to get it covered. So the second time was even worse because the cover up was like, now like my whole butt cheek. Again, from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I got the Kitten Mittens logo covering my butt, and that was painful. But hilarious, but painful. Painful and hilarious is basically my entire existence, I think. Hi, I'm Alexandra Izzi. I'm a stand-up comedian and a body piercer. This is Barbara Nugget, my service dog, and this is my story. I got my first tattoo when I was 13. I was kind of a bad kid. I used to sneak off and cut school, and I would take a train into the village, and they didn't really care how old I was. Also, I've been the same size since I was about like 9 or 10, so I never really got carded for anything, so I just would get like, you know, yeah. But I got my first tattoo, I got a little rose on my hip, and I thought I was like the biggest badass in the world. Anything new that I wasn't used to, it just kind of excited me. I was just like, all right, this is cool. And then I thought it was gonna hurt like a lot, and then it didn't hurt at all, so I was like, oh, I want more. And I got another one, I think, like the next week, which was funny enough on my hand. Every single aspect of my life was controlled. So this was like my way of like being like, oh no, this is me. And even if people don't know, at least like I know, if that makes any sense. I liked being like a secret badass. Like I had like a double life kind of when I was a kid. I was able to cover up almost everything up until maybe like a couple years ago from my mother. I'm very good at that. I have wigs, I wore fingerless gloves in high school, like, and like whenever she would be like, oh, take them off, I'd be like, it's the style, Mom, like, you know, and yeah. And she found out like a couple years ago that I had my whole head thing done. The wig reveal was really funny. She did not like it, but she's getting used to it, I think, hopefully. And she literally found out because I was just like, it was summer, it was hot, I was wearing a wig, and I'm like, I can't take this anymore, and I just ripped it off, and I don't think, she looked like she saw a ghost. But yeah, I would wear a wig, and I had different wigs too, and when she asked me why I was wearing a wig, I'm like, oh, it's the style. I'd wear a beanie over the wig because I don't know how to like glue it or do any like cool stuff with it. Long sleeve shirts, the gloves, the pants, like I completely covered myself. Very uncomfortable, super, super uncomfortable, but being uncomfortable to me was a lot easier than like facing my truth. That's really deep, that's really deep. It was kind of like, I can't take it anymore moment. I was like, Mom, like this is just me and you just kind of have to deal with it. But she had no idea. I thought like she has to know, no. So when I first started getting tattoos, it was kind of just like, oh, I thought this was cool, and then I would just get it and then whatever. As I got older, I started being like, okay, this is something I'm really into, so I want to plan it, and like I would go to a shop and talk to them first instead of just being like, oh, I want an appointment right now. I like to get tattoos that are funny. If I think something's funny, like nobody can talk me out of it. So I'll just get like whatever. It's 50-50 where I'm like impulse, or if I'm just like, no, this means a lot. I have a portrait of Danny DeVito as a man cheetah on my thigh. It's one of my favorite tattoos. It helps me feel better about myself. Like instead of looking at my thigh and be like, ugh, gross, it jiggles, I'm like, oh crap, it's a man cheetah. I didn't really think much. I'm very impulsive. Even now, I'm just like, hey, if it looks cool, screw it, I'll do it. The first time I noticed people noticing me was maybe like 5-6 years ago, honestly. That's when I decided to shave my head and get this whole thing. And it's weird because like I grew up, when I grew up, I was like a really fat kid, and a lot of people would always like stare at me, and I thought it was because I was fat. And then as I got older and then like I lost weight, people would like still stare at me funny. So I was like, screw it, if people are gonna look at me, I'll give them something to look at. And I just got this, so it kind of like helped with my confidence more than ever. But I didn't really notice like the hardcore stares until like this whole thing, yeah. The compass on my head is I love to travel and just see new things, and I figured a compass would help me figure out where I'm going in life. I think my head tattoo changed my life. It made me feel more confident. Like, if people are gonna stare at me, that's cool, I don't mind it. It definitely changed my outlook on myself. Like, it taught me a lot of self-love that I didn't have before. I thought getting my head tattooed was gonna be horrible and painful. I even cried a little bit before I got it because I'm a baby and that's just how I roll. As soon as the needle went on my skin, I didn't feel it. It felt like I was getting like a head massage. And I've heard people before say like, oh, the head is the worst tattoo ever. I didn't feel it. I don't know if that's because I have nothing in my brain or just my skull's built differently, but like it had to be the easiest tattoo I have. Listen, I'm a big baby when it comes to tattoos. A lot of them, I will complain. This one, I kind of was like, She was laying on me. It was like very relaxing. It was it was like meditation for me almost. I never saw anyone with eyelid tattoos before, and I thought it would be something different until I went on the internet and found out that a lot of people have them, but they usually had like words and stuff, and since I'm a crazy dog lady, I'm like, oh, paw prints are cute, so I just got the paw prints. The eyelid tattoos, on a pain level, weren't that bad, but it was like very uncomfortable because the entire time I thought like, oh my God, they're gonna poke my eye, but it didn't happen, so I'm cool. I'm planning, I have like portraits that I definitely need to get, and then I think the next thing that I'm doing is I have this little space in my head that drives me crazy, so I just want to fill it in with something. But that's like probably like the next one I'm gonna do. Every time I look in the mirror and I see this little spot, it's like if you have hair and you have a bald spot, I want to like put a Sharpie on it or something just to cover up the little spot in my head. I'm the type of person where like if like people could say like, oh, that looks bad or whatever, as long as I don't think it looks bad, I'm cool with it. But if something really, really bothers me and nobody seems to notice, it's still gonna bother me like a lot. I have weird things like that. I don't regret any of the tattoos I have, and I have a lot of dumb tattoos. But the reason I don't regret them is because at some point in my life, I did like them and I did think it was cool or funny or whatever. So like, if I say I regret something, it's like kind of like me like telling off my past self, and I don't want to do that. I want to be good to me, so I don't regret any of them, as dumb as they are. And if I got a chance to go back, I would do everything the same. I know that's not a good way to look at it, but it's like if I didn't do everything I did when I was a kid, I wouldn't be where I am now. And for the first time in 32 years, I'm very happy with where I am right now in my life. So I wouldn't change anything. I still would have lied about the tattoos and I still would have covered them up. There is nothing scarier than an angry Colombian mother. So I still definitely would have covered them up. No changes, not one thing. Final answer. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to get pierced by me, check out Sacred Bloodlines in Union. And if you want to check out my comedy, it's What Would Izzy Do on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. Everything is What Would Izzy Do. Thanks again for watching.